In this video, I would like to show you how to polish a Petoskey stone. Now, your child picked a Petoskey stone out of this bowl, and I'll just grab one here. Here's an example of one. It looks like that. Now, when it's wet, I don't want it to drip in my keyboard. When it's wet, you can see a lot of the markings of the hexagonaria coral pretty well, but when it dries you don't see it. So there's a process to polishing these rocks. Oh, here's a better one. Okay, take a look at this one. Do you see that? That is beautiful. Now when we get done polishing it, it's going to look just like this. When it's dry, it really doesn't look like much. You can hardly see the designs in there when it's dry. So this is the little polishing packet that your child has that they brought home from the lab. And these are the directions that everybody gets. And I'm just going to go through it with you and show you how to polish these rocks. So in the packet, you'll see a little packet of powder. This is called titanium dioxide. This is a non-toxic substance that is used in soaps and lotions and even in food. And I'm not suggesting that you eat this, and parents, I would suggest that you just hold on to this. But it is found in a lot of products that we use in everyday life. So this is the last step. This is the polishing step. You'll also see some sandpaper, and this one here is 60 grade. That means this is the roughest sandpaper that we have. Then there's 220 grade, that's the next one. And the last grade of sandpaper is 600. That's the very finest, the black one. Now this little piece of felt, there's a little piece of felt in each bag, and that goes along with the polish for the very end. But you don't want to get in a rush in getting to the polishing stage, because you want to make sure that every little indentation has been scraped off with the sandpaper. So the first thing you're going to do is find your 60 grade, it should say 60 on the back, and you dip it in some water and make it wet. And you want to use water when you're polishing. And you can polish all sides of your rock. Now some of these rocks that the children got are just two-sided, because we took the diamond saw and we sliced these rocks in little slivers so they wouldn't be that much work for the kids to polish. But this one here is pretty big, but I'm going to go ahead and polish it anyway. And I would say if I were going to polish this rock, I would spend at least 45 minutes to an hour on just this step. This is the most important step. This right here is going to take off all the impurities and the little nicks, and you just cannot get in a big hurry with this. It would take a professional rock polisher about 2 hours to polish this rock. Now see, I'm going to dip it in the water and keep going. You want to try to go in a round fashion if you can. And you want to make sure you get all the big cuts and big indentations off this rock. Now this might take a little longer than 45 minutes, just because this is a big piece. Maybe it won't take that long. I'll see. I'm not going to bore you through all the steps of this polishing, but this is the first step, 60 grade, like that. When you can take a little magnifying lens if you have one, or some good glasses, and if you see any little white, here, if you see any white spots, like I see 2, 3, almost 4 white spots on there, you want to make sure you sandpaper that all off. Here, let me get dry this up. See, now we didn't do this for very long, but do you see those little white spots? There's one here, there's one there, all these little white spots right there. You want those to go away before you go to the next grade. There, there, you want that off. So this is starting to dry now, and it's going to show up where we need to keep polishing. So you're going to want to work on that for about 45 minutes to an hour with this. Now this is a great project to do on a road trip, or if your kids say they're bored, or if they want to play video games all day long. You can say, okay, you've got half an hour of video games for every half an hour that you polish your rock. Anyway, I'm just being silly. But there's all kinds of creative ways to get your kids off the media devices and onto something productive. So that's the first grade. Then the next one is 220. And it will say 220 on the back. Looks like that. Same thing, you get it wet, you polish it, polish it, polish it. You can't over polish. So the more you polish, the better. And then the final sandpaper step is the black piece, and that's 600th grade. That's very fine. So you're going to get that wet and keep polishing until all of these little specks are gone, and it's going to get more and more soft and completely even. Then the last step is the polish. So what I like to do is get my felt wet, get it wet, and then you're going to put a little bit of polish on here of the powder, maybe a half a teaspoon. This is the step that makes it shiny. Once you get done with this, it'll be really, really shiny. And then you're done. Now I'm going to show you a little trick here. Let me grab a rock that's already been polished. Okay, this is the back of this rock. Doesn't look like much, does it? But turn it around and look what you got. Isn't that beautiful? Look at the designs in there. Hexagonaria, it's a coral that used to live in the ocean that was above Lake Michigan. So this one was done really well. It was polished really good. And here's another one. Oh, I love this one. Look at all the variations in color. You could turn this into a necklace. Now that one has gotten a little bit chipped up over the years because I haven't put bubble wrap around it in my rock box. I'm going to have to start protecting these better. Or I may have to just go ahead and repolish this because it got scratched up a little bit. Here's another little trick. You could take some clear nail polish and put that on your rock. But that's kind of like cheating. There's also something you can get called shellac. I think they sell it in a spray at Lowe's. Now I'm putting some nail polish on here, clear nail polish. And see, it's bringing out the design in there. But it's, so you can see that. But the nail polish doesn't work as good because you can see little lines in there. It's not as beautiful as a real polished job. But these stones are really quite valuable. You can buy these on Etsy and, not Craigslist, but you can buy them on Etsy, eBay, and Amazon as jewelry. And it's not inexpensive, especially if you get a nice polished piece. So just treat this as a really nice rock that your children got from lab today, and they can make something really beautiful out of that. That would make a beautiful necklace. So that's how you polish the rock. And if an adult works nonstop for about 2 hours, they could polish the rock and get it done. But a child is going to take longer. So this is a good exercise in patience to teach them to work on a project for a while. It may take them a week of a little bit here, a little bit there. There's no rocket science to this, but like I said, the first step is very important. You want to make sure you get all those little white, see those little white spots out of there, and get that out with a 60 grade. The first one is the 60. So if you have any questions, just give me a holler. You can send me pictures of your rocks, and I'll take a look at it. I'm excited to see what everybody's going to do with their rocks. It's going to be awesome. All right, that's it for now.